I moved to Barcelona in August with 2 suitcases and a promise to myself that I'd finally stop running from my own life and start living it. The apartment was small, a studio in Gracia with a balcony overlooking narrow streets where laundry hung between buildings and old women shouted to each other in Catalan. It cost more than I should spend on my salary as a translator, but it was mine. No one else's name on the lease. No one with a key who'd show up unannounced to check on me, to make sure I was being good, to remind me that leaving him was the biggest mistake I'd ever made. David. My ex. 3 years of his voice in my head telling me I wasn't smart enough, pretty enough, independent enough to survive without him. 3 years of slow suffocation disguised as love. 6 months since I'd finally walked away, moved back in with my parents in Valencia, saved every euro until I could afford to disappear to a city where he'd never think to look for me. Barcelona felt like freedom, like possibility, like maybe at 29 I could figure out who Lucia Morales was when no one was telling her who to be. I'd been there 2 weeks when it happened. I was walking home from a work dinner, my new colleagues at the translation agency celebrating landing a major contract with a tech company. We'd had wine and tapas in Elborn, and I'd felt almost normal. Almost like a person who had friends and a job and a future that didn't involve looking over her shoulder. It was past 11 when I got off the metro at Fontana. The walk to my apartment was maybe 8 minutes through streets that were usually busy, but everyone was away for August. The locals fled the tourist-packed city for beaches and mountains, leaving Barcelona feeling half-empty and strange. I was 2 blocks from my building when I heard footsteps behind me. Fast, getting closer. I sped up. The footsteps matched pace. My heart kicked into overdrive, that familiar panic rising. David used to follow me like this when I'd go out without permission, corner me in parking lots and hallways to remind me who I belonged to. But this wasn't David. This was someone else. A hand grabbed my arm and spun me around. 2 men, maybe mid-20s, drunk or high or both. One of them said in Spanish with a thick Catalan accent, "Where are you going so fast, guapa? Stay and talk to us." "Let go of me." I tried to pull away, but his grip tightened. "Don't be like that. We just want to get to know you." His friend moved to block my path, boxing me against a closed storefront. "You're not from here? Where are you from?" "Valencia, Madrid." "It doesn't matter. I'm going home. Please let me go." "We'll walk you home. Make sure you're safe." He pulled me closer, his breath sour with alcohol. Wouldn't want anything to happen to a pretty girl walking alone at night. I was about to scream when someone else spoke. "She said let her go." The voice came from behind them, male, calm, with an accent that wasn't Spanish. Colombian, maybe. I couldn't see him past the 2 men, but I heard his footsteps, measured and purposeful. The man holding my arm said, "Mind your business." "She is my business. Let her go, or this gets unpleasant." The men turned, and I finally saw him. Tall, maybe 6 feet, dark hair, dressed in black jeans and a simple t-shirt. He was younger than his voice suggested, maybe 32, 33, but he moved like someone who'd been in fights before and won. His eyes were dark, flat, completely unafraid of the 2 men who had 30 pounds on him each. The drunk one laughed. "You're going to make us. Fuck off before we hurt you too." What happened next was fast and brutal. The stranger moved before they could react, grabbed the man holding me and twisted his arm at an angle that made him scream and let go. The second man swung at him and got knocked into the storefront window hard enough that glass cracked. The first man tried to fight back and ended up on the ground with the stranger's knee on his chest and a knife, where had the knife come from, pressed against his throat. The stranger said very calmly, "You're going to leave. You're going to forget this woman exists. And if I ever see you anywhere near this neighborhood again, I'll finish what I started. ¿Entiendes?" The men scrambled away as soon as he released them, stumbling down the street and around the corner. The stranger watched them go, then turned to me, putting the knife away like it was nothing. "Are you hurt?" I was shaking so hard I could barely stand. "No, I don't think so. Thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't." "Don't think about it. They're gone now." He moved closer, gentle now where he'd been violent seconds ago. "I'm Elias. I live a few streets over." I'll walk you home. Make sure you get there safely. You don't have to. I know, but I'm going to anyway. He smiled, and it transformed his face from dangerous to almost kind. Where do you live? I gave him my street, still shaking. We walked in silence for a minute, my adrenaline slowly draining, leaving me hollow and exhausted. When we reached my building, I stopped at the door. Thank you. Really. I don't know how to... You don't need to thank me. Just be more careful. Barcelona's safer than people think, but there are still bad neighborhoods late at night. I know. I had dinner with colleagues and I thought 8 minutes was fine, and I'm usually more careful, but I was rambling, couldn't stop. Sorry, I'm Lucia. Lucia. He said my name like he was testing how it felt. Pretty name. You're not from Barcelona. Valencia. I moved here 2 weeks ago, still learning which streets to avoid. Avoid that one after dark, and the park after 10, and anywhere too empty. He glanced up at my building. You should get inside. Lock your door. Maybe don't go out alone for a few days. I can't hide in my apartment forever. Not forever, just until you feel safe again. He pulled out his phone. Give me your number, in case you need help, or just someone to walk you home after work. I should have said no. Should have recognized this was too much, too intimate, too fast. But I was tired of being afraid, and this stranger had just saved me from God knows what, and something about him made me feel safer than I'd felt in months. I gave him my number. He called it, so I'd have his. Then he waited while I went inside, watching from the street until I was safely in the building. I went up to my apartment, locked every lock, and sat on the floor trying to process what had just happened. A normal night out turned into almost assault, turned into rescue by a Colombian stranger with a knife and calm eyes who'd dropped 2 men without breaking a sweat. My phone buzzed. Elias. Made it home? Me. Yes, thank you again. Elias. Get some rest. And Lucia, you're safe now, I promise. I should have asked how he could promise that. Should have wondered why a stranger would care about my safety. Should have been more careful. Instead, I went to bed thinking about his voice, his hands, the way he'd moved between violence and gentleness like switching channels. He texted me the next morning, just checking in, making sure I was okay. We texted throughout the day, nothing heavy, just conversation about Barcelona, about adjusting to a new city, about whether I was settling in. That evening, he asked if I wanted to get coffee, somewhere public, somewhere safe, just to talk. I said yes. We met at a cafe in Gracia, all exposed brick and mismatched furniture, full of freelancers working on laptops and young people having loud conversations in 3 languages. Elias was there first, sitting at a corner table where he could see both the door and the street. He stood when I approached, kissed both my cheeks in that European way, smelled like expensive cologne and something else, smoke maybe, or coffee, or the night. He said, "You look better, less scared." I slept. That helped. I sat across from him, ordered a cortado when the waiter came. I wanted to thank you properly for last night. You saved me from something that could have been really bad. I happened to be walking by. Anyone would have done the same? Not anyone. Most people would have kept walking, pretended they didn't see. You didn't hesitate. I don't like bullies, or men who hurt women. Something dark flickered in his eyes. I've seen too much of it. In Colombia. How did you know I'm Colombian? Your accent. And you said entiendes to those guys instead of entiendes me. It's a small thing, but I'm a translator. I notice language. He smiled. You're observant? Yes, Colombia. Medellin originally. I've been in Spain for 6 months. Still getting used to how things work here. Why Barcelona? Work. My family has business interests in Europe. I'm helping manage the Spanish operations. He sipped his coffee. What about you? Why leave Valencia? Fresh. Start. I needed to get away from... I stopped. Someone. An ex. It was complicated. Complicated bad or complicated messy? Both. He was controlling. Made me feel like I couldn't breathe. Leaving him was the hardest thing I've ever done, but also the most necessary. I looked at Elias. Sorry, that's probably too much information for a first coffee. It's honest. I like honest. He leaned forward. Is he still a problem? Your ex? Is he looking for you? I don't think so. I told him I was moving to Madrid. He has no reason to look here. But you're still afraid? Not of him specifically. Just of being controlled again. Of letting someone make me small. I met his eyes. I promised myself when I moved here that I'd be different, braver, someone who doesn't need rescuing. And then you met me? And then I met you. I almost smiled. Terrible timing. Or perfect timing, depending on how you look at it. We talked for 2 hours about Medellin and Barcelona and how both cities were beautiful and dangerous in different ways. About translation work and his vague business interests he didn't explain in detail. About books and music and the weird specific loneliness of living in a new city where you don't quite speak the language properly yet. When we finally left, the sun was setting, turning Barcelona's buildings gold and pink. Elias walked me home even though I said he didn't have to. At my door he said, "Can I see you again? Tomorrow maybe. There's a gallery opening in El Born. Contemporary art, terrible wine, interesting people. Want to come? Is this a date? Do you want it to be? I don't know yet. I just got out of something complicated. I'm not sure I'm ready for something new." Then it's just 2 people going to an art gallery. No pressure, no expectations, just seeing what happens. He touched my arm, brief and gentle. Think about it. Text me if you want to come. I thought about it all night. Thought about how easy Elias was to talk to. How he listened like he actually cared about answers. How being around him made me feel seen in ways I hadn't felt in years. But I also thought about jumping into something new too fast. About not being ready. About the promise I'd made to myself to figure out who I was before getting tangled up with someone else. In the morning, I texted him, "What time's the gallery?" We went to the gallery opening, and to dinner after. And the next night, we walked along Barceloneta Beach until 3 a.m. talking about everything and nothing. Within a week, we were seeing each other almost every day. Coffee in the morning before work, walks in the evening, dinners at small restaurants in neighborhoods tourists never found. And the chemistry was undeniable. The way he looked at me like I was something rare and precious. The way our conversations felt effortless. The way I caught myself thinking about him constantly, wondering what he was doing, wanting to tell him about small, stupid things that happened during my day. But there were also strange things. The way he'd check his phone and his expression would go flat and cold. The calls he'd take in Spanish too fast for me to follow, stepping away like he didn't want me to hear. The expensive watch, the cash he always carried, the fact that he never talked about his work in any detail. 2 weeks into whatever we were doing, I asked him directly. We were having dinner at his apartment, a beautiful place in Ixample with high ceilings and modern furniture and art that looked original and expensive. He'd cooked, which surprised me, some Colombian dish with plantains and rice that tasted like comfort and home. Over wine, I said, "Elias, what do you actually do for work?" He set down his glass. "Why do you ask?" "Because you're vague about it. You say business interests, but never specifics. You have a lot of money, but I don't know where it comes from. And sometimes," I paused, "sometimes you get phone calls and you change, become someone harder, someone I don't recognize. Would you believe me if I said I work in import-export? That's what people say when they don't want to explain their real job." "Smart." He stood, walked to the window overlooking the street. "I do work in import-export, but not the legal kind. My family, we move things, products, across borders, from Colombia to Europe. It's lucrative, it's also dangerous, and it's definitely not something I should be telling you about." My stomach dropped. "Products? You mean drugs?" "Among other things, yes." "You're, what, a drug dealer?" "I'm the son of a drug dealer. There's a difference. My father runs operations in Colombia. I run European distribution, mostly Spain and France. Some operations in Italy and Germany. It's a family business. I was born into it." He turned to face me. "I'm sorry. I should have told you sooner." But I liked that you looked at me like I was just Elias, not a cartel heir, not someone dangerous, just a person. I should have left, should have walked out immediately. Instead, I said, "Why tell me now?" "Because I'm falling for you, and lying to you while that happens feels wrong." He moved closer. "I understand if this is too much, if you want to leave and never see me again. But Lucia, I need you to know that what I feel for you is real. That's not connected to my work or my family. It's just you. Have you hurt people in your work?" "Yes." "Killed people?" "Yes." The honesty was almost worse than lies would have been. "Why are you telling me this? Why not just keep lying?" "Because you deserve to know who you're spending time with. What kind of danger you're in just by being associated with me. My father has enemies, rivals, people who'd hurt you to get to me." His voice was quiet, intense. "I'm giving you the chance to walk away now, before you're in too deep, before I can't let you go." "Can't let me go? What does that mean?" "It means once you know this, once you're part of my world even, peripherally, leaving becomes complicated. Not because I'd stop you, but because other people might. Because knowledge is dangerous in my business." I looked at him across his beautiful apartment, this man who'd saved me from assault, who'd been kind and attentive and made me laugh, who was apparently a drug lord's son. "I should leave." "You should." "I should call the police, report you." "The police know who I am. They can't prove anything, and reporting me just puts you on record as someone who knows too much." He sat down across from me. "I know this is a lot. I know I'm asking for something unfair. But if you can trust me, if you can give me time to show you that I'm more than just my work, I'll do everything in my power to keep you safe." "I don't know if I can do that. Trust you. After this." "Then don't. Just don't run yet. Stay tonight. Tomorrow we can figure out what comes next. Together." I should have left. Should have run back to my apartment and never answered his calls. Should have moved again, disappeared, gone back to Valencia where life was small and safe. Instead, I stayed. We talked until dawn, about his childhood in Medellin, about being groomed from age 10 to take over his father's empire, about leaving Colombia at 25 to escape that future only to be pulled back in when his father needed European operations expanded, about the violence he'd seen, the things he'd done, the guilt he carried. And I told him about David, about the control and the fear, about how leaving had felt like ripping myself apart, about moving to Barcelona to find myself and instead finding him. "I'm not David," Elias said when I finished. "I won't control you, won't cage you. You're free to leave anytime. I'm just asking, don't leave yet. Let me show you who I am beyond the work." I stayed that night, and the next. Within a week, I was spending more time at his apartment than mine. Within 2 weeks, we'd stopped pretending we were anything except completely tangled in each other. Physically, emotionally, dangerously. The first time we slept together was 3 weeks after we met. Slow and careful, him asking permission at every step, me giving it because I wanted him more than I'd wanted anything in years. After, lying in his bed overlooking Barcelona, he said, "I love you. I know it's too soon, but it's true. I love you too, and I know that's probably going to get me killed. Not if I can help it. Can you help it if your enemies find out about me?" "I'll make sure they don't." He pulled me closer. "You're mine now. That means you're protected. No one touches you without going through me." "That's very mafia." "I am very mafia. You're going to have to get used to that." I was getting used to it. Getting used to the armed driver who picked him up sometimes. The phone calls in code. The way he'd leave suddenly for business and come back tense and careful. The expensive gifts, jewelry, clothes, things I protested were too much, until I realized protesting insulted him. For 2 months, it worked. We existed in a strange bubble. I did my translation work, he did his illegal distribution work, and we met in the middle and pretended we were normal people falling in love normally. Then, his enemies found out about me. I was leaving work on a Friday evening, walking to the metro, when a car pulled up beside me. Black SUV with tinted windows. 2 men got out before I could run, grabbed me, pushed me inside. They weren't rough exactly, just efficient, like they'd done this before. Inside the car, a 3rd man sat waiting. Older, maybe 50. Expensive suit, cold eyes. He said in Spanish with a Mexican accent, "Lucia Morales, Elias Montoya's girlfriend. You're coming with us." "Who are you?" "Associates of someone who has business with Elias. Your leverage, insurance that he'll cooperate." "I don't know anything about his business." "That doesn't matter. You matter to him. That's enough." He made a call, spoke briefly. "We're taking you somewhere secure. Don't fight. Don't scream. It won't help, and it will just make this unpleasant." They took me to a warehouse near the port. Not the touristy part, the industrial area where ships unloaded cargo, and no one asked questions. Inside, they put me in a small office, locked the door, left a guard outside. I sat there trying not to panic, trying to think. My phone was still in my purse. They hadn't searched me properly. I pulled it out, texted Elias. "Someone took me. Warehouse near port. Help." The response came immediately. "I know. I'm handling it. Don't be afraid. You're going to be fine." How did he already know? Had he been tracking me? Before I could text back, the door opened. The older man came in, sat across from me. "Your boyfriend is being stubborn. We asked for a meeting to discuss territory. He refused. Now we have you. That should change his calculation." "What do you want from him?" "To leave Barcelona. To let us take over his distribution. To acknowledge that his father's reach doesn't extend to Spain anymore." He smiled without warmth. "We're not unreasonable. We'll pay him for the territory. But he needs to understand. We run Catalonia now, not the Montoya family. And if he refuses, then we hurt you until he agrees, or until you're no longer useful and we kill you. Either way, he learns that protecting his territory costs more than it's worth." I'd been afraid before, when David had cornered me, when those men attacked me outside my apartment. But this was different. This was calculated violence by people who treated kidnapping like a business transaction. The man's phone rang. He answered, listened, his expression changing from confident to wary. "How many?" A pause. "That's fine. We'll meet. But tell Elias, no tricks, or the girl dies first." He hung up, looked at me. "Your boyfriend's here, with enough men to start a war. We're going to negotiate, and you're going to sit here quietly and hope he values you more than his pride." They left me alone again. I heard voices outside, shouting, negotiation, the sound of many people moving. Then gunfire, brief and loud, then silence. The door opened. Elias stood there, blood on his shirt that wasn't his, gun in his hand, looking more dangerous than I'd ever seen him. "Are you hurt?" I shook my head, couldn't speak. He holstered the gun, crossed to me, pulled me into his arms. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful. Should have protected you better." "What happened? Those men? They're dead or gone. It doesn't matter. What matters is, you're safe now, and you're never going to be exposed like this again." "Elias, they said they want Barcelona, your territory. That's what this was about." "I know. They've been pushing for months. I've been holding them off. But taking you..." His grip tightened. "That crossed a line. They should have known better." "What are you going to do?" "What I have to. Make an example. Show them that touching what's mine costs more than any territory is worth." He pulled back to look at me. "But first, I'm getting you somewhere actually safe, out of Barcelona, somewhere they can't find you." "I'm not leaving." "Lucia?" "No, I'm not running, not from you, not from this. If I leave, they win. If I hide, they've already beaten us." I held his face. "You said I was yours. That means you don't get to send me away for my own good? That means we figure this out together." "You don't understand what you're asking. Staying means being part of this world. Being targeted, being used against me. It means danger constantly. I understand perfectly, and I'm staying anyway, because I love you, and because I'm done letting fear control my life. He looked at me like I was insane, or perfect, maybe both. You're going to get us both killed. Probably, but at least we'll go down fighting. We left the warehouse. He had 8 men with him, security, soldiers, whatever you called them in the cartel world. They formed a perimeter while we walked to armored cars, drove through Barcelona like a convoy, ended up at a different apartment. Bigger, more secure, in a building with actual armed guards. Inside, Elias made calls. Spoke in rapid Spanish with people I couldn't see, his voice hard and cold. When he finally hung up, he looked exhausted. There's going to be a war, a small one, between my family's people and the Mexicans who took you. It'll be bloody and fast, and when it's over, Barcelona will be ours completely, or we'll be dead. How long? Days, maybe a week. We hit them hard before they can organize. Show them we're willing to fight for territory. Either they back down, or... He shrugged. We'll see. And me, what do I do while you're fighting? You stay here, with guards. You don't leave, you don't answer the door for anyone except me, and you pray I come back. What if you don't? Then my second in command will get you out of Spain, give you new identity, enough money to start over. You'll disappear and live a normal life and forget I existed. I don't want that. Neither do I, but I need to know you're safe if this goes wrong. He pulled me close. I need to know that even if I die, you get out. You get the life you came to Barcelona for. The life I came here for doesn't exist without you in it anymore. So don't die. Just don't. I'll try my best. The war lasted 4 days. I stayed in the apartment, watched news reports of gang violence in Barcelona, shootings in El Raval, a car bomb in the port, police finding bodies in the Collserola Hills. Elias came back twice, both times bloody and exhausted, staying just long enough to sleep a few hours before leaving again. On the 4th day, he came back and didn't leave. It's over. The Mexicans backed down, lost too many people too fast. They're withdrawing from Catalonia completely, going back to Madrid. He sat on the couch, let me clean the cut on his face. We won. Barely, but we won. How many people died? 15 on their side, 3 on ours. Plus collateral damage, bystanders. Wrong place, wrong time. His voice was hollow. Blood I'm responsible for. You didn't start this. They took me. They forced your hand. I escalated it. Could have negotiated, given them some territory. Instead, I made it a war because they touched you, and I couldn't let that go unanswered. He looked at me. I'm a monster, Lucia. You see that now? The violence, the bodies, the fact that I chose you over peace. You're not a monster. You're someone doing what you have to do to survive in a world you were born into. I kissed his forehead. And you protected me. That's not monstrous. That's love. Love shouldn't require killing. Maybe not, but in your world it does. So I accept it. I accept you. All of you. Even the parts that scare me. We stayed in that apartment for a month while things settled. Elias rebuilt his operations, made new alliances, secured Barcelona properly. I quit my translation job. Too exposed, too risky. Started working from home, doing freelance work for companies that didn't ask questions. And I became part of his world, met his people, learned the hierarchy, understood what loyalty meant here, how debts were paid, how power was maintained. It wasn't the life I'd imagined when I'd moved to Barcelona. It was harder, darker, built on violence and control. But it was mine, chosen, built with someone who loved me fiercely and protected me ruthlessly. 6 months after we met, Elias asked me to marry him. Not romantic, just practical. It protects you, makes you family officially, means anyone who touches you is declaring war on the Montoya name. You'll be safer as my wife than as my girlfriend. That's the least romantic proposal I've ever heard. I'm not romantic, I'm practical, but he pulled out a ring. I do love you, more than I thought I could love anyone, and I want you beside me, forever, if you'll have me. even though your world tried to kill me. Because you survived it. Because you're strong enough to live in this darkness and not get consumed. Because you make me want to be better than I am. He took my hand. Marry me, Lucia. Be my wife. Be my partner. Be the thing I fight for when everything else is just violence and blood. I should have said no. Should have run back to Valencia. Should have chosen normal over dangerous. Instead, I said yes. We got married 2 months later. Small ceremony, just his close people and my parents, who I'd finally told the truth to. They were horrified, but resigned. Their daughter loved a cartel heir. What could they do but hope it didn't kill her? And I became Lucia Montoya, wife of a drug lord's son, protected by a name that made people afraid. Living in Barcelona, in a beautiful apartment with armed guards, and a man who'd saved me and loved me and would kill for me without hesitation. One night, a year into our marriage, we stood on our terrace overlooking the city, lights glittering below, and Elias said, "Do you regret it? Staying? Marrying me? Choosing this life?" "Every day, and never." I leaned against him. "I miss normal. I miss safety. I miss being able to walk down a street without guards. But I don't miss being without you. So no, I don't regret it. Even knowing what it's cost, what it will cost? Even knowing that. Because before you, I was surviving. With you, I'm living. Dangerously, impossibly, but living. I love you more than territory, more than power, more than anything. I love you too, even though you're absolutely going to get me killed someday. I'll die first. That's a promise." We stayed on that terrace until the stars came out. Two people who'd found each other by accident and chosen each other despite everything. It wasn't the fresh start I'd come to Barcelona for. It was darker, stranger, built on violence and impossible love. But it was ours, and somehow that made it enough.